Tonight, President Biden gets a first-hand look at the devastation in the battered state of Florida, this time by Hurricane Milton. The race for the White House enters the final stretch, what our new poll shows with a little more than 3 weeks to go until Election Day. And the historic landing that takes us one step closer to a return to the moon and beyond. President Biden on the ground in Florida meeting with first responders and residents witnessing Hurricane Milton's catastrophic impact. Falling trees, piles of debris, destroyed homes and businesses, hundreds of thousands still without power. Residents searching for fuel to power generators. The White House pressing Congress to act and approve more disaster funding. The latest from the storm zone. With 23 days and counting, Vice President Kamala Harris calls out misinformation as she visits North Carolina's storm zone. Former President Donald Trump in Arizona, what he said about undocumented immigrants and his political opponents, and the new poll on the state of the race, what matters most to Americans in this election. Overseas, the major American show of force in the Middle East, deploying about 100 troops in a high-tech defense missile system to Israel to help combat a potential Iranian attack. Matt Gutman from Tel Aviv. Back here at home, the terrifying home invasion. The suspects posing as utility workers. Authorities say they killed an elderly homeowner. New details in the urgent manhunt. SpaceX passes a crucial test for a return to the moon. And the future of space travel with a historic landing. The nationwide IV fluid shortage. Hospitals and patients now feeling the impact. Who's likely to be affected the most and how long it will last? Could America's biggest sporting event one day take place overseas? What the NFL commissioner had to say about the Super Bowl. And the famous superfans, the beloved and sometimes despised fixtures at courtside. Their special honor.
From ABC News World Headquarters in New York, this is World News Tonight.
Good evening, everyone, and thanks so much for joining us on this Sunday. I'm Rachel Scott in for Lindsay Davis. We begin tonight with President Biden touring the damage left behind by Hurricane Milton in Florida. That state still reeling from back-to-back storms. The president announcing more than $600 million in funding to aid Florida and other states in the southeast. President Biden getting a first-hand look at the path of destruction today. Homes and businesses completely destroyed, streets cluttered with sand and debris. In Lakeland, 2 homes nearly swallowed by this massive sinkhole. Officials there warning residents to stay alert, saying it could expand without warning. Tonight, hundreds of thousands are still left in the dark without power. ABC's Jaclyn Lee leads us off from Florida.
Tonight, President Biden in Florida getting a first-hand look at the damage left in Hurricane Milton's wake on the ground in St. Pete Beach. The Category 3 hurricane making landfall about an hour south of there Wednesday night, packing winds of 120 miles per hour. Milton unleashing its wrath just 2 weeks after the area received a glancing blow from Hurricane Helene.
I also met with small business owners here and homeowners who have taken a real beating these back-to-back storms.
President Biden approving Florida's disaster declaration Saturday. The state's Republican governor, Ron DeSantis, saying,
"We sent a big request and we got approved for what we wanted."
We rode along with the Hillsborough County Sheriff this weekend as he surveyed the damage in Tampa's eastern suburbs. Deputies working around the clock.
Rescuers say this water will not recede anytime soon, and there's also huge danger. Not only are there downed power lines, but there's also snakes and alligators in the water.
We'll step over this.
And tonight, we're learning about the terrifying moments one Polk County family faced in the middle of the storm. Josh Mitchell telling me after a transformer exploded outside their home, he took it as a sign they were no longer safe there.
We got to get out of here. My wife grabbed the baby and we ended up coming out of the garage. I had to pull the emergency thing and just kind of throw it up. And then we hauled Bud out of here.
This is huge.
When they returned, they discovered this massive sinkhole had opened up. Hurricane Milton claiming at least 16 lives, including 6 from a tornado outbreak it spawned across the state. Meteorologists say the same wind shear and drier air that weakened Milton as it approached land helped fuel those twisters. And tonight, long lines for gas. Families in need of fuel for not just their vehicles, but for their generators as well.
Rachel, this gas station just ran out of fuel, but a tanker arrived with a police escort, and now a line is forming again. Rachel, hundreds of thousands of people are without power. During President Biden's trip today, he announced more than $600 million in funding for those impacted by Hurricane Milton and Hurricane Helene. His goal, to restore the power grid and strengthen it for future storms. Rachel?
Yeah, some of those residents now going 4 days without power. All right, Jaclyn, thank you for your reporting tonight. Next tonight, the race for the White House. With just 23 days to go, both candidates in the battleground states tonight. Former President Donald Trump in Arizona, Vice President Kamala Harris in North Carolina. So where does this race stand in the final stretch? And who is leading on the key issues? ABC's MaryAlice Parks on the campaign trail tonight in North Carolina.
Tonight, with just 23 days until Election Day, former President Donald Trump and Vice President Kamala Harris out on the trail and locked in a dead heat. A new ABC News Ipsos poll showing Harris holding a narrow lead within the margin of error. And Vice President Kamala Harris picking up the pace of her campaigning, spending the weekend in battleground North Carolina.
With your help in 23 days, we will win.
Harris calling out Trump for not debating her again, nor releasing his medical records like she did this weekend.
Why does his staff want him to hide away? One must question, are they afraid that people will see that he is too weak and unstable to lead America?
Earlier, Harris packing aid boxes for hurricane victims and speaking at a predominantly black church Sunday morning, telling the room of crucial voters to keep the faith, but also calling out those who she says have been playing politics with people's heartache.
Yet instead of offering hope, there are those who are channeling people's tragedies and sorrows into grievance and hatred.
Trump wrapping up a West Coast swing, promising to hire more border agents and doubling down on his anti-immigrant rhetoric.
If Kamala gets 4 more years, the entire country will be turned into a migrant camp, and that's what's happening. Millions and millions of people.
The former president also using increasingly dark language to describe his political opponents, saying that they might need to be dealt with by the National Guard.
I think the bigger problem are the people from within. We have some very bad people. We have some sick people, radical left lunatics. And I think they're and it should be very easily handled by, if necessary, by National Guard, or if really necessary, by the military. Because they can't let that happen.
Vice President Kamala Harris's spokesperson responding immediately, writing, "This should alarm every American who cares about their freedom and security. What Donald Trump is promising is dangerous, and returning him to office is simply a risk Americans cannot afford." Back in North Carolina, voters at Harris's rally telling us they worry some might sit out this election or be hesitant about voting for a woman.
I mean, honestly, I have to say there has to be the aspect that she is a woman, and I think it is hard for a lot of men, especially younger men, to kind of be able to envision looking up at a woman in authority for some reason.
Yeah, just a few thousand votes can make all the difference in this race. MaryAlice joins us live now from North Carolina. MaryAlice, this race is closer than ever, just 2 points separating these two candidates, and our new poll showing some signs of why it's a dead heat.
Yeah, voters' frustrations on the economy, Rachel, still a major factor. 59% of respondents saying they think that the economy is getting worse and more trust Trump to handle that. On other issues, 56% of voters now say that they support deporting all undocumented immigrants in this country, something Trump has promised. That's up 20% from 8 years ago. 56% of respondents, though, also saying that they agree with Harris about wanting to restore abortion rights. So look, big picture. Harris's message here in North Carolina was that every single vote could matter. And Rachel, the numbers definitely show that.
MaryAlice, thank you. And one more note tonight from the campaign trail. There is breaking news. A Trump supporter arrested for a weapons violation near the former president's rally in Coachella, California on Saturday night. Authorities say the Nevada man was allegedly armed with a shotgun, a loaded handgun, and ammunition in his vehicle. He was released on a $5,000 bail. All right, overseas now, and word tonight that the U.S. is sending an anti-missile defense system to Israel and deploying 100 U.S. troops to operate it. The system is intended to help Israel fend off any future attacks from Iran. Let's bring in ABC's Matt Gutman. He's live from Tel Aviv tonight. Matt, what more are you learning about this new development?
Rachel, the Pentagon is saying a clear message with this deployment that it's working in lockstep with Israel to help it fend off any additional possible Iranian ballistic missile strike, and that it's working with Israel to help it calibrate its response to that historic ballistic missile strike from October 1st. Over 180 bus-sized missiles fired into Israel, and more of those missiles penetrating Israel's air defenses than many here expected. One reason that Israel has vowed such a ferocious response. Now, I'm told it'll be at least 4 days before that missile battery is operational. And remember, Rachel, those 100 troops are just a fraction of the total of 40,000 U.S. troops operating in the Middle East right now. But this is the first time that U.S. troops will be on the ground and operational in Israel since just after October 7th. And it's happening as this conflict between Israel and Hezbollah is intensifying. Hezbollah launching more attacks today than in any day since the war began, including a drone attack just about 30 miles from where we are right now, in which Israel says about 70 people were wounded, Rachel.
As you reported, Matt, this will be the first time that U.S. troops will be on the ground and operational in Israel in months. Matt, thank you for your reporting. We turn now to the urgent manhunt underway after a terrifying and deadly home invasion in Michigan. 2 suspects seen here.
We're checking for gas leaks.
Allegedly posing as utility workers. A 72-year-old man killed inside the home, his wife tied up with duct tape. Authorities say the victims were targeted. ABC's Perry Russum has more on the investigation.
Or DTE.
Tonight, a suspect is on the run and another is in custody after police say the pair was caught on camera in a deadly brazen home invasion.
We're checking for gas leaks.
Surveillance video shows them posing as utility workers to get inside Hussein Murray's home in Rochester Hills, Michigan, an upscale neighborhood north of Detroit, before allegedly brutally killing him in his basement.
You don't expect somebody to do something that deceiving.
Police arresting Carlos Hernandez hundreds of miles away in Louisiana. He's now charged with murder. It's not clear if he's entered a plea. Investigators say the men first showed up to Murray's house Thursday night, claiming there was a gas leak.
They came up to the house with a work vest on and with a fake DTE identification card.
The men were not allowed inside. They came back the next morning with the same story and were let in. Police say after the men killed Murray, the owner of a jewelry pawn shop, they duct taped his wife and searched the house for at least 20 minutes.
They may have thought there was valuables in the home due to the business, and were trying to get whatever those valuables were.
In a tribute, Murray's heartbroken grandson says the people who took him away from this world don't know they took someone who was selfless and compassionate.
And Rachel, police say their first suspect, Carlos Hernandez, is also wanted in Ohio for armed robbery. And the energy company says if somebody comes to your house, says they're a worker, and you want to verify that it's true, call the company. Rachel?
Perry Russum, thank you. Tonight, a major milestone for SpaceX with the launch of the world's largest and most powerful rocket yet. The historic landing and catch bringing the company one step closer to carrying people to the moon and beyond. Here's ABC's Zareen Shah.
Tonight, the historic launch, SpaceX launching its 5th flight of the Starship rocket, dramatically catching the rocket's 20-story booster on its first try.
It's pretty much right overhead of us, and we can see it starting to come down. Oh, we can see it coming down through the plume.
Watch as the booster descends in the air, with fire jutting from its base.
We got a go for booster catch. We can see those chopsticks.
Cheers erupting as it's caught by its so-called chopsticks on the launching pad.
It was almost like you were at an NFL game and the home team just scored a touchdown.
The historic breakthrough for the world's most powerful rocket now puts SpaceX one step closer to making Starship a completely reusable rocket, something no one has ever done before. Today's landing, a good sign for NASA, which has invested $4 billion in SpaceX to take astronauts back to the moon for its Artemis program, where they hope to explore the lunar South Pole.
NASA sent out a mission deadline of September 2026 to get humans back to the moon. And this Starship vehicle is a key component of that, since Starship will be the thing that actually brings humans to the surface.
And SpaceX needs up to 18 launches to send cargo to the moon before astronauts arrive. But today's launch, a step in the right direction, Rachel.
Yes, definitely one step closer. All right, Zareen, thank you. We turn now to the nationwide shortage of IV fluids. It's one of the many ripple effects from Hurricane Helene. The storm shutting down a crucial plant for one of the largest suppliers in the U.S., forcing hospitals to delay some procedures. ABC's Ika Jachi has more on the shortage and how long it could last.
Tonight, Mass General Brigham announcing it's postponing certain procedures due to the ongoing nationwide shortage of IV fluids. The decision by Massachusetts' largest hospital and healthcare system comes in the wake of Hurricane Helene disrupting the fluid supply chain across the country. Hospital administrators say the pause will conserve IV fluids for the most urgent patients. A spokesperson for the hospital releasing a statement saying, in part, due to the unpredictable nature of this situation, we do not know when our supply of IV fluids will improve, but we are closely monitoring and will continuously evaluate to ensure we can return to normal operations as soon as possible. Hospitals across the country scrambling under similar circumstances.
Make no mistake, the impact of this shortage reaches nearly every hospital in the country. The spectrum of that impact varies, but remember, IV fluids are the lifeblood for treating millions of patients with countless different kinds of medical conditions.
In late September, Helene's floodwaters engulfing a Baxter International plant in North Carolina. The plant produces more than 60% of the country's IV solution. Meanwhile, the federal government authorizing 19 IV products for temporary importation from Canada, China, Ireland, and the UK. As for the Baxter plant, the company says it's currently limiting how much of its IV fluids hospital can buy, while working to increase production at its other facilities.
60% is a gaping hole in that supply chain, and it's going to take time to build back up the amount that hospitals are used to seeing this time of year.
Rachel, the deferrals at Mass General Brigham have begun today and will last through at least Wednesday. Health and Human Services Secretary Javier Becerra sending a letter to healthcare providers warning them that this IV shortage could last for weeks. All this as hurricane season continues. Rachel?
Could last for weeks, impacting hospitals nationwide. Ike, thank you. And there's still so much more ahead on World News Tonight this Sunday. Police in Nashville search for suspects in a deadly shooting near a college campus, and what the NFL commissioner is saying about the future of the Super Bowl and where it could be played. Next tonight, police in Nashville are searching for the suspects involved in a shooting near Tennessee State University. Police say 2 groups exchanged gunfire. At least 1 person was killed. 9 others were wounded. 3 of them are juveniles. That shooting happened as the school was celebrating homecoming. When we come back, why you may need your passport if you want to go to the Super Bowl, what the NFL is considering. To the index now, the NFL is hoping to expand outside the U.S. Commissioner Roger Goodell is floating the idea of holding the Super Bowl abroad. Goodell mentioned the idea as he outlined his plan to expand the regular season to 18 games and play 16 of those games internationally. And tonight, the University of North Carolina is remembering one of its own. UNC wide receiver Tylee Craft passed away this weekend after a long battle with lung cancer. He was diagnosed with stage 4 lung cancer 2 years ago. He was only given weeks to live. His coach saying he fought hard, never missing a practice or a meeting. Tylee Craft was just 23 years old. When we come back, a special honor for the biggest NBA superfans. And finally tonight, the NBA superfans who have what it takes, and now a very special honor. They may not be playing on the court, but they are certainly some of the most recognizable faces on the sidelines. For years, celebrities Jack Nicholson, Spike Lee, Billy Crystal, and businessman Alan Horwitz have had a front row seat to some of the biggest moments in NBA history. And tonight, they will take their own places, inducted as superfans into the Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame in Springfield, Massachusetts. Jack Nicholson has been a Lakers ticket holder since the 1970s. The 3-time Oscar winner often spotted sitting near the team's bench wearing his trademark sunglasses, even adjusting his movie shooting schedule to make sure he could make it to as many games as possible. Loyal New York Knicks fan Spike Lee has been a season ticket holder since the 1980s, typically in Knicks colors from head to toe, the orange-framed glasses, and shoes too. In Philadelphia, businessman Alan Horwitz has been a season ticket holder for the 76ers for more than 60 years, the team proudly posting, "Congratulations, Sixth Man." LA Clippers superfan Billy Crystal attended his first Clippers game in the mid-'80s, telling Jimmy Kimmel,
"Where I first started with the team, 27 years ago, or as I put it, $3.2 million. Sometimes the teams were so bad, the players would leave in the third quarter to beat the traffic."
On hearing the news of the honor, the comedian had this to say, "Well, I guess this means I'm not getting in as a player," but adding, "I merely represent all devoted fans of the game we love." A special honor, just a few weeks away from tip-off. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Rachel Scott. Good night.
Thank you for making World News Tonight with David Muir, America's most watched newscast.